We spend our summers in this little community on the Mississippi River here. And we've been coming here since I was 8. So that's when my parents first came to this part of Illinois. And we would spend our whole summer here. So my mom would pick us up from school. The car would be loaded like the Clampets. She would shove us in somewhere. We would come here, and that's where we would stay until like the night before school started. And everybody did that. And my dad would come up on the weekends or, go back and forth because it's not that far away from St. Louis. We didn't do anything in the summer except come here, and it was great. It's riding bikes, playing in the creek, doing things in the woods, and it is still like that today with my kids, which is amazing. So when Todd and I first started dating, I would come up here on the weekends still, and I shared a place with my sister, and he would come see me, and he would sit outside on the golf cart, and he would chit chat with people, and I really couldn't figure out if he liked me or this place because he was always willing to come to this place. And and I wasn't willing to stay at home, so I was going to be here. If you wanted to see me, you had to come here to see me. My kids love it, and we are unusual because we, just like me, our kids do nothing in the summer. We get out of school, they come here, they're here all summer, we're here all summer. There's no activities, no baseball, soccer, nothing. Like, coming out of me, they had to sign an agreement on the way out that said nothing in the summer. And it really is a break for the whole entire family. That life is slower. Todd and I commute every day. I get to be near my parents. They come for the summer. My sister comes for the summer. So they're here with their cousins and all their friends. And it's just a very free way of living in terms of kids that are not scheduled. They are gone in the morning before we get up sometimes, and we have to track them down at night. I mean, I can literally feed nobody at lunch or 23 kids. They run in packs, and you can tell by the shoes at your front door or the bicycles in your front yard where they are. And it's just like 1970, and it's fantastic. This place teaches children to be independent. It really does. It teaches them to go in the woods alone, to fall down a trail alone, to decide whether or not that is something you need to come home and get bandaged up or not. Like, are we making a big deal out of this? No, we'd rather play. I'll never forget. And there's freedom at such a young age. So Ellie, when she was maybe 3 or 4, I was letting her go over the hill to Grandma's house, probably at 2. And I would call my mom, she's coming, okay, I got her. Well, back and forth, right? And so then I sit her down to feed her, and she's eating a sandwich. Then she tells me that she had found some worms, and she squished them to see what was inside. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't have you wash your hands before you ate. It's, stuff like that. Jack came home at 4 with this giant gash on his leg that had happened 6 hours before, and he did not want to come home and stop playing. It wasn't important enough. And I think the independence in those decisions that they make is priceless. And we are not scheduled at all. And they need that, and I need that. Because we're a river community, essentially, when the river rages, we sometimes experience floods more often than we used to because of all the levees built along the Mississippi River. And 3 summers ago, the river was so high for so long that it crept all the way into the valley up to where our cottage was. And we had to build a wall around our cottage because the flood prediction was, in the flood of '93, the flood came right up under the floorboards, but it was never in this house. And we didn't own it then, but it never came in. Well, the flood of 2018 came all the way up the creek and so far into the community that the flood predictions had it going into our house. So Todd devised a plan to build a wall around it, and it was 2x4s and plywood that he wrapped in plastic, and then we did sandbags on either side of it. It was so awesome because so many people came to help, and our kids, it was almost like a party. Like, sandbagging in the face of possible historic tragedy is actually quite a fun party. So afterwards we barbecued and we fed everybody and we had cocktails, and Tom's cottage is next door, and we were helping him pull everything out of it, and we took the wall all the way up the hill to protect as much as we could. And then we were leaving town, and so we had pumps set up, and luckily a levee broke upriver, and it was farm fields. No, houses were flooded, but that alleviated it enough to where it just lapped up against our walls, but it never came into our cottage. When I heard that levee broke, I was like almost ready to go out there and dynamite one myself. But it was such a relief for all of us, actually. And that really was the turning point. In that flood, everything started to lower. And then river communities are very resilient. Everybody helps. So, everything came down. People helped us take it down. We all pushed the mud out the front, together, just like Grafton and Elsa to the right and left of us. We all just put on the muck boots and get rid of the mud and move forward.